Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be Thy name. Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds. Most gracious, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment, Thee alone do we worship, and Thine aid alone we seek. Amen. We pray to God to eradicate all the misery in the world, that understanding triumph over ignorance, that generosity triumph over indifference, that trust triumph over contempt, and that truth triumph over falsehood. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And none shall be afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa buddhang saranang gacchami dhammang saranang gacchami sanghang saranang gacchami ekam saranang gacchami satyam saranang gacchami. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Krishna Shivaya Sathya Sai Baba Rama Rama Jehovah Buddha Lord Jesus. The name of God is flowing within me. I hear it always singing within me.
The Sri Sathya Sai International Organization is involved in numerous humanitarian service activities in 120 countries around the world. Here are some of the highlights of these various activities conducted in the fields of education, healthcare, community engagement, environmental sustainability initiatives, and disaster relief. There are 44 schools and 31 institutes of Sathya Sai education around the world, providing values-based education to thousands of children. Many of these programs have received accolades from national education authorities and communities. The Sathya Sai School of Canada was recognized by the Fraser Institute as the #1 school out of 3,037 for many consecutive years. The Institute of Sathya Sai Education in Thailand has trained over 10,000 teachers. 100,000 educators and community service professionals have received human values awareness education by facilitators from the Institute. The Sri Sathya Sai International Organization hosts medical camps and clinics where healthcare is provided free of charge with love and compassion to people in need. Services include preventative screenings and even cataract surgeries, such as this ongoing project in Sri Lanka. During the present COVID-19 pandemic crisis, health education programs, stress alleviation support, and PPE supplies along with food, water, and medical supplies are provided to the needy. Whenever natural disasters occur, such as earthquakes, floods, volcanoes, and hurricanes, the volunteers of the SSS-IO immediately spring into action. In many countries like Nepal, Indonesia, Haiti, India, and the Philippines to provide relief such as food, water, shelter, medical and educational services to the affected communities. In response to recent famine and food shortages in Africa, volunteers organized 11 shipping containers, each carrying 19 tons of food items, and distributed supplies to over 27,000 affected families in 11 countries. In addition, Sathya Sai units in South Africa, Kenya, Madagascar, and Cameroon have also been addressing food needs as part of their ongoing service to the community. About 160 communities in 40 countries are adopted by the SSS-IO for ongoing service to the needy. In Trinidad, Haiti, and other Caribbean countries, hundreds of volunteers from the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization have built over 400 prefabricated homes. Each home includes necessary kitchen appliances and furnishings and is given free of cost to an appreciative family and are built in a record time of 3 days. About 160 communities in 40 countries are adopted by the SSS-IO for ongoing service to the needy. Following the Go Green conference held in 2018, the SSS-IO launched numerous green initiatives worldwide. Projects include alternative and renewable energy such as solar and wind, gardening to distribute food within a community, numerous cleaning up projects for areas such as beaches, reforestation via tree plantings on a massive scale, repurposing and recycling plastics via eco-initiatives such as eco-bricks, the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization is grateful to Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba for blessing us with the opportunities to practice his teachings of love all and serve all.
Respected elders, beautiful people of Trinidad and Tobago, sisters and brothers, Sairam, Namaste, Sitaram, Assalamu alaikum, and pleasant good morning to all of you. I am Dr. Gautam Tiwari, Central Coordinator of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba International Organization, or the SSIO for the West Indies region. First, I want, on behalf of the SSIO, to extend our love and prayers to all of Trinidad and the West Indies. Many of you have been affected by the pandemic. You may have lost loved ones. You may have suffered and recovered from the virus. You may have been affected financially. We extend our support, our love and prayers to you. Please get vaccinated and continue to observe all the protocols of social distancing, wearing of masks, and washing of hands. The SSIO is a spiritual service organization with branches in more than 108 countries worldwide. We've had a presence in the West Indies for more than 50 years. We have centers in Aruba, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Barbados, St. Kitts, St. Martin, Suriname, Guyana, and Trinidad. The watchwords of the SSIO, established by our guru, Sri Sathya Sai Baba, is love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. Over our many years of existence in Trinidad, we've been involved in many service activities. House building over the last 15 years. More than 30 houses are built on a yearly basis to help those in need. This activity is spearheaded by a very active center in Trinidad, Sathya Sai Center. We have been involved in distribution of food hampers to the needy, hospital visits, and free medical camps all over the country. We have been involved in education in human values. Baba has told us that the end of education is character. Our education system is value-based, with the inherent values of truth, right action, and non-violence, which are taught to children. We presently have 4 preschools in Trinidad, in partner with the Ministry of Education, and 1 free primary school, which is funded by the organization. In Trinidad, we have 38 centers presently. I've come to you today to clear up doubts and fears and confusion that may have arisen among devotees due to recent developments. A parallel organization called the Global Council has sprung up all over the world. This organization has never been sanctioned by our Guru and leader Sai Baba. Over the many years, when Baba was physically with us, he established 3 distinct entities. One was the Central Trust of India, whose purpose was to manage the ashram in India and all its facilities, which include schools, universities, hospital, ashram facilities, etc. The second entity was the SSSO, the Indian organization, to run all the centers in India. And the third entity was the SSIO, to run the 120 centers outside of India. The Sathya Sai International Organization, or SSIO, is composed of two entities which run the international organization. One is Prashanti Council, which is headed by Dr. Niranjanath Reddy, a doctor from California, USA. And Prashanti Council comprises of members from many countries worldwide. The members of Prashanti Council, including Dr. Reddy, were personally appointed by Swami himself. The other entity is the Sathya Sai World Foundation, which is a legal arm of the SSSIO. Many years ago, there was a World Council which ran the organization from India under a charter of 1981. When the organization started to expand worldwide, Swami, in his omniscience, realized that it was impossible to run the organization with a central body in India. So he dissolved the World Council and established these three distinct entities, all working in unity and harmony. This present system has worked well and continues to do so well until this time. The Central Trust of India, which is pushing the new Global Council, which is really a reincarnation of the old World Council, is a managing structure which has no experience in running a global council because they have no understanding of the culture and bylaws of countries outside of India. The SSIO has successfully ran the organization internationally and does so following the international guidelines established and blessed by Swami in 2010. We want to assure devotees in Trinidad that the Global Council, a parallel organization, is not connected in any way to the SSIO. The current president of the organization in Trinidad, which is part of the SSIO, is Sister Vinti Mohip, an auditor by profession, and a very dedicated devotee to Swami and the organization. The service activities, the educational activities, and spiritual activities of the organization will continue unabated. The Sai organization is not a religious body, but a spiritual one. All faiths are welcome. We celebrate all religious festivals and all religions. Swami, or Baba says, there's only one language, the language of the heart. There's only one race, the human race. And there's only one religion, the religion of love. The ashram in Prashanti Nilayam was established by Swami. Is situated in Puttaparthi, a town in the state of Andhra Pradesh in South India. Prashanti Nilayam, the Baba's ashram, means the abode of supreme peace. Many devotees worldwide, including from Trinidad, continue to visit the ashram. But I want to remind devotees of the words of Swami, taken from discourses from Sathya Sai Speaks. He said, God resides in the hearts of persons, and not in shrines like Tirupati, Badrinath, or Prashanti Nilayam. He is essentially the indweller of the heart. He says, do not confine me to those few acres around Prashanti Nilayam. Wherever a person wants perfect peace, lives and prays, there's Prashanti Nilayam. So he said Prashanti Nilayam is not a physical place. Prashanti Nilayam is where you crave for peace. Prashanti Nilayam is in your heart. And he said so many times, go to every corner of the world and preach my message of love and establish a Prashanti Nilayam in your hearts, in your homes, and in your country. In Sai Messages for You and Me, Swami says, do not lose heart. This is a time of great change. Do not lose confidence or have any fears. I am always with you. Sisters and brothers, we are going through a tough period in the history of mankind. We have wars, we have conflicts, we have the pandemic, we have, the financial destruction of the world presently. So many people are, suffering from financial losses, find it difficult to feed their families, etc. We in the organization, locally and worldwide, will continue to assist in whatever way we could to relieve the suffering of mankind, using Baba's message of love. He said he has come to establish the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. Baba says, and this is taken again from messages from you and me, the world is in a state of turmoil. The present condition of the world is man's creation. Man has drifted far away from the source and has pursued his own ambitions and pleasure, regardless of the consequences to Mother Earth. He doesn't realize that Mother Earth herself is divine. The world will not recover its stability until man himself changes his way of life and his destructive and selfish acts. So is there hope? There is always hope. What can we do to bring about positive change? Many years ago, in his first discourse given to mankind, where he sat on a rock and he sang his first bhajan, Manasa Bhajare, Guru Charanam, worship the lotus feet of God, hold on to his feet, and this will take you across the ocean of mundane existence, the ocean of Bhavasagar, ups and downs in life. So what can each of us do? Each one of you is a potential source of light. Do not waste this opportunity that has been given to you by God to participate in his work. Become one of the shining beacons of light in the universe and bring that light to those who are less fortunate, those who are sick in body and mind, distressed and living in darkness. All of them need your help. This too will pass. Baba said he's come, the sole purpose of our incarnation on this earth is to realize our inherent divinity. He said, divinity has descended to humanity so that humanity can rise to divinity. Over many years, many incarnations, we have forgotten our true nature, which is love. One of the problems in the world today is labels. We label some doctors, teachers, carpenters, black, white, Hindu, Muslim, PNM, UNC, and we react and we treat people according to those labels that we give them. When Baba looked at us, only one label he saw, which was Divyatma Saruplara, embodiments of divine love. He saw beyond our bodies. He saw us as loving Atmas. And if we want to change the world, we have to elevate our consciousness and our vision to see everyone as a brother and sister, to see beyond the labels, to see them as divine incarnations of God. And then we can never hurt anyone. We can never cause pain to anyone. We never have wars in the world. There'll be peace only. So sisters and brothers, in these turbulent times, I encourage you to keep on praying, meditating, chanting, staying very positive, focusing on whatever form of God or formless God that you worship. And I also encourage you to vaccinate and follow all those protocols that we have been advised to do. I want to thank you so much for giving me this chance to share some thoughts with you this morning. And I send Swami's love to you. May you all continue to be his instruments of love. Sairam.
Sai mera
In your view, where's the headquarters of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization?
The headquarters of the Sri Sathya Sai organization is in Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He is in our hearts. There is no particular location. We are spread all around. Brother Leonardo is in Argentina. I'm in USA. Brother Suresh Govind is in Malaysia. You are in Hong Kong. We work together as brothers and sisters. Our Divine Father and Mother's home, Prashanti Nilayam, is always open to every devotee around the world. Swami himself told us, this is your home, this is where I lived, this is where I taught, this is where I gave up my physical form. He never left that. We have a right to visit that and be there. But the organization he created is all over the world and they're in different places. Right now we are meeting virtually online. We also have an office in Prashanti Nilayam. If you're asking where is the physical office, we have an office there and we visit there twice a year until the pandemic hit us. We could not travel anymore and we were getting along just fine. I'll give you an example. In 2019, I believe it was in July, that we organized for the first time ever, a joint meeting of every leader of the ashram, every leader of the Indian organization, and every leader of the international organization. We got together, we came to know each other, know what they're doing, we exchanged conversations. It was a beautiful start, and we thought we'd continue to do that, and this Global Council was facilitating that. We don't have a headquarters per se as such, there is no such place. Our headquarters is in our hearts. And let me tell you one other thing. Swami will always be the head of this organization. Today, yesterday, forever. And that's whom we follow.
This is another lie. They didn't appoint Dr. Reddy. At the time when Swami left his physical body, there was a meeting when there was a situation when Dr. Goldstein was asked to remain only in one position, not as president of the World Foundation and as president of the Prashanti Council. A letter was sent to the Central Trust for their advice, as one brother asked another brother about what do they think, and nothing else. Then Dr. Goldstein decided to resign, and the World Foundation appointed Gary Bells as chair of the World Foundation and Dr. Reddy as chair of the Prashanti Council. So was no one appointment was done by the Central Trust at all. And also when at the beginning when there was this body much before the World Council, Indulal Shah was one member of the World Council. And then when the two zones were created, when Swami dissolved the World Council, when East and West were created under Brother Hira and Dr. Goldstein, they were reporting to Indulal Shah not as a member of the Central Trust, just as a devotee who was getting the reports. And then Swami decided to form only one zone under Dr. Goldstein, and Dr. Goldstein reported only to Swami, not even to Indulal Shah. So there was never a moment in the 60 years of history or more of the international organization that we had to report to the Central Trust. Swami never gave that authority or power to them.
From a spiritual perspective, shouldn't we join the Global Council for the sake of unity and surrender to Swami to take care of any potential consequences of the Global Trust proposed TOR, which is central to the disagreement? Whatever the outcome may be, isn't it an opportunity to practice sacrifice, surrender, and continuous reflection and transformation?
Sairam, nice, good question. That is a very good question. The thing is, if that was the case for the sake of unity, then Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita would not do that, isn't it? First chapter, actually, Arjuna did not want to fight. In fact, it doesn't matter. We'll all stay together. The wives will become widow. There were so many reasons why he wanted to unite, and it's okay. 17 chapters is about why he should fight. The point of the story is that what is the decision-making processes must be based on principles. principles must be based upon very strong foundation. If it is just made at the physical level, if it is made at the mental level, okay, intellectual level, deeper, but spiritual level, then the decision-making processes will be strong. So now the key question is, whenever we want to make a decision process, need not worry, because we Sathya Sai Baba devotees have got one privilege. We just rely on our teacher, our master. He has done it all. Hey, Bhagwan, what is it you want me to do? Then I just follow, because that the implicit obedience to the teacher is the highest expression of devotion. What is the value of putting a flower, saying Namaha, Namaha, Namaha 100 times, when the words that he's saying is not being followed? So the key question is surrender. Yes, the word surrender was used. Surrender to what? Surrender to what he has taught. Sacrifice is what? Actually, literally, by sticking to his words, actually the leaders here will be sacrificing. What are we sacrificing? We are sacrificing seating privileges. We are not able to go and perform. Oh, Bhagavan, we have to see you from far away behind, because we are now far away behind. But doesn't matter, Swami. We will sit wherever we sit, because we learn that you said wherever you sit, the privilege is that whenever you get connected to Bhagavan, that is your sitting privilege. Yes, Bhagavan, that is true. Okay, I can sit there, but I will not be able to perform, Baba. I will not be able to perform. Others are performing. Now maybe it is a lesson. There's an obstacle. Now we learn the opportunity in the obstacle. What is the opportunity now? Hey, my society is my limbs. So therefore, what are you going to perform in front of me? Swami's teachings and human values. Why you must perform Swami's teachings to me? I know that. Why don't you take the teachings and value and present it in the communities in your own respective countries? Why don't you spread far and wide and bring the teachings? Why come here? Okay, so now I got an obstacle. I turn that into an opportunity. You see how I'm now using my spirituality. Spirituality is not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens to you. That is spirituality. If we can understand that basis, use these tests that Bhagavan has given us, and take us into a bigger level, higher level, greater level.
Brother Manoj, if I could go back to a question from the public. If we know the SS, the Central Trust has walked away from the negotiations, and it seems quite clear that they are intent on moving forward regardless, what will happen to the countries that remain in the SSIO? Give us a glimpse of that.
As Brother Anupam said, we are in 108 countries we are operating right now. Apart from the few, we had 120, where a few have joined Global Council in totality. But let me tell you, brother, that even there is a one center SSIO will run. Of course, there have been cases in UK that the Central Council joined in totality to Global Council, but they didn't talk to the devotees and centers. And it so happened that people got upset. And today we have a organization standing just within 1 week, and there are many centers joining. So it is not that the Global Council people it is because what is happening, the long propaganda is being spread every time, every day. And so to create panic in our devotees, like there was a message once that 60% of Canada has joined. But it was there that only 7 or 8 centers have joined. There are 42 centers in Canada. Recently, there was a message that Australia has joined 60%. South Africa has joined. The thing is that these are the messages which is reaching to the devotees, so they think that they have to rush and they have to join this Global Council, but it is not. And there was a strange happening that a school joined the Global Council. The problem was that this school, when we asked that why you joined, you are not supposed to. What is your interest in joining the Global Council? He said, no, the children's parents, they are Swami devotees. So then we asked, tell me, if the children's parents are devotee, how many times they have gone, or the children have gone to Puttaparthi? They said, no, we have never gone. I said, then how does it matter if you don't go to Puttaparthi, that that you have to join Global Council. So idea is that it's only few people who are trying to create a panic amongst devotees to join. But actually the fact on the reality is that 80 to 90% devotees, they are for SSIO, and I don't think there will be any change in their views with remaining with SSIO. Sairam, brother.
Dear brothers and sisters of Trinidad Tobago, I'm very happy to have this opportunity to speak with all of you. I want to start by expressing my humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of my divine Master and Lord Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. The members of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization firmly believed in the divinity of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. We believe that he is the embodiment of the omniscient Lord of the universe. There is no higher discipline, spiritual discipline, than to follow implicitly and immediately the divine instructions and the divine command. For us, this is the most important spiritual discipline that we can perform. That is why, at this moment, we cannot accept the creation of the Global Council done by the Central Trust. Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba has, in 2003, formed the Prashanti Council, and in 2006, he formed the Sri Sathya Sai World Foundation. He said that these were the governing and administrative bodies for the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. He gave us precise instructions about the structure, functioning, bylaws that we have to follow. Over the years, we presented to him the updated guidelines. He reviewed them, corrected them, approved and blessed them. And we're working under these guidelines given by him. When, on November 16, the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization received the information from the Central Trust about their intent to create this Global Council, we asked them to wait till this pandemic is over and we can have the opportunity to meet face to face and discuss this project. They told us that they were not going to do anything without our feedback. Nevertheless, on November 23rd, they made the announcement of the creation of the Global Council. When we received this information, they sent us the concept paper where the structure, goal, and purpose of the Global Council was defined, and to our surprise, it was completely contrary to the divine instructions given by Swami to us. Swami created 3 organizations: the Central Trust to run the ashram and all the educational and health institutions in India, the Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization of India to run all the samitis, all the sevas centers in India, and the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization to run all the centers in the overseas countries. We have been working for more than 50 years as 3 independent bodies, with unity in thought, word, and deed. We collaborated always with all the needs of the Central Trust. We financially collaborated with the expenses of the General Hospital, the super specialty hospitals, with the universities, the schools, and especially with all their efforts for the disaster reliefs in India. We exchanged information with them, we invited them to our meetings, and we were working in unity and cooperation. But suddenly we received this proposal to form this Global Council by which the Central Trust would assume a role, an authoritative role, supervising role over the international organization. They want to have the rights to appoint the office bearers of the international organization. They want the right to appoint any person in any place, in any position at any time, and they want all our committees to be under their supervision. This is against the instructions given by Swami to us. So we tried to reach an agreement with them. We invited them to a meeting where we discussed the possibility to reach an agreement. And we decided that we were going to join the Global Council if two conditions were met. If our present structure and functioning given by Swami were going to be respected, they assured us that they will respect and will not change, disturb, or disrupt our functioning and our structure. And also, if we can change this concept paper for terms of reference, that will be the bylaws of the Global Council. And this will be discussed and approved by all the three organizations. When we sent to them our proposal, we received as a reply that they didn't want to have any more communication with us because we didn't include there what for them was the most important part. That means their right to appoint our members to supervise our organization. So they abruptly walked out from these negotiations that we're having. We replied to them that our doors and our hearts were going to be open to continue negotiations with them, but we will continue the activities that we are doing since 1975 that are growing and are working with each day with more excellence. The Sri Sathya Sai organization is present in 118 countries. Now the Central Trust continue their intent to form the Global Council, and 12 countries moved to them. So instead of the unity that we're expecting, disunity was brought by this proposal. Anyway, we know that all of this is just a divine test, and we'll continue our work. We'll continue working in unity, in love, in cooperation. The Sri Sathya Sai International Organization is moving forward in its mission to be an instrument to uplift the human consciousness, to do service to the people in need in all the countries, and most of all, to help all its members to elevate their spiritual consciousness. I want to express to you that we are very happy that the Sri Sathya Sai organization in West Indies remained within the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization and are willing to follow the divine command. They want to follow the organization created by Swami and are not going to be part of another organization created by a man. So, dear brothers and sisters, I want to share with all of you my love. I hope that you will receive the blessings of God in whatever name and form you believe in Him. God is omnipresent, all names and all forms are His. We just have to do our part and try to become better human beings, more loving, with more compassion in our hearts, and trying to serve our fellow beings. I send to all of you my love. Jai Sai Ram.
Sometimes people feel bad that they never had the chance to see Swami physically, in person. I want to share with you one of the first and last lessons that Swami taught me. My first pilgrimage to Baba was in December of 1988, and Baba gave our group a lot of grace. We had a lot of interactions with him. At my first darshan, Swami came and stood directly in front of me and allowed me to touch his feet. And of course, all of us felt very blessed to be able to receive this wonderful attention from Swami. But there was something else. It very quickly became apparent that there was much more to Swami than just that divine physical form, that he was much more than just that physical form, that he wasn't just that body walking among us.
there was a sense of vastness, stillness, peace, and radiant love in Baba's presence. That presence is who Baba really is, and that presence was not limited by his physical body. It's always with us, in us, and around us. And we've all experienced that deep sense of peace in one way or another. We've all experienced that at the end of a bhajan, or in meditation, or even out in the beauty of nature. Swami was not limited to that physical form. Swami is here, now, with each and every one of us, just as much as he was when he walked amongst us in darshan. During our last trip to Swami for Shivaratri in 2009, Swami gave 2 incredible discourses in which he repeatedly emphasized that he was not that body. These were the discourses from the 21st and 23rd of February 2009, and I strongly encourage everyone to read them. These are the historic discourses in which Swami announced that he was going to leave his body soon, and also how we should react when he leaves. He told us in these discourses, physical bodies only last for a certain time and then cease to exist. Do not get attached to my physical form. Divinity takes different forms at different times. Now you're worshipping this body and deriving a lot of happiness from it. But after some time, this body may disappear, like the previous avatars. Then you should not feel sad. When the divine Atma, the self embodied in this physical body, reaches its eternal abode, it is a matter for joy, not sorrow. So Swami said we shouldn't feel sad when he leaves his body, that he would return to his original state as the Atma, the divine self present in all of us. The lesson here is that Swami has not left us. He's there within you as your Atma, your very self. And what did Swami say was the best description of the Atma? He said the Atma is also known as awareness, that the Atma is best described as love. Once we were in India together with our dear friends, Dorothy and Moya O'Brien, Swami's pink twins as he called them. Now, the twins had told me to ask for a ring or a watch or, something physical if Swami granted me an interview. And I told them I never really wanted anything like that, but as always, they were very insistent. And then they said that it would help me to stay in tune with Swami. Now, even though I'd never wanted anything physical, having something that would help me to stay in tune with him was something that I thought was worth it. And so Swami called us for an interview, and during that interview, he called us into the private room, and we had a chance to sit and ask questions, to talk to him. And I sat there and asked spiritual questions for about 10 or 15 minutes. And at the end, I looked at Swami and said, Swami, if it's all right, there's something I'd like to ask you for. And Swami smiled broadly and he patted me on the back and said, yes, you ask. And I said, Swami, I'd really like something to help me to keep in tune with you. Well, by the time I got halfway through that sentence, Swami was doing this. And then he looked at me and very simply said, not necessary, sir. I am always with you, in you, and around you. Why do you fear? Swami was omniscient. He knew everything, including the fact that you would hear this today. What he said to me then is equally true for all of us now. Baba has not gone anywhere. No matter where we are, Swami is always with us, in us, and around us.